Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative podcast. This is the podcast where we have digital discussions, the worlds of pro wrestling, TV, film, pop culture, sports, everything really. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On Twitter, you know me as PD Beats. And my guest is a professional wrestler with Impact Wrestling. He is the Impact World Champion. He is the Machine, Brian Cage. Brian, welcome to Popternative.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me. And I will say, too, just a quick little shout out. You know, a lot of us wrestlers, if you will, get a lot of podcast requests all the time. And one of the questions I have is, you know, hey, what's your listeners like? What's this? What's that? Whatever information. I will say I instantly accepted yours because the amount of information that you listed amongst your email was out of control. And I'm like, I can't even make up a question to ask him. Like, he has everything right there. I'm like, just on that alone, I was like, okay, yes. The appreciation was met above and beyond. It's like, I will absolutely grant you this interview. No problem.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, you said that in your response. You're like, yes, like you answer all the questions I have. Let's do it. So it's like awesome. Well, man, we're happy to have you. So icebreaker question. I mean, there was, I'm sure, like a point in time where you really got into this idea of becoming a pro wrestler. When would that have been?
10 years old was like it first, hit me, and I really wanted to do it. And again, it was probably just a kid dream. Everybody has a dream as a kid, and but I was like, really sincere about it. I'm like, oh, sure, you'll grow out of that. And then, probably like 15, 16 was when I was like really, really serious about it. I mean, I was backyard wrestling. It was hot then, and we're all doing it, and like everybody did it for fun, but I was doing it like sincerely because like this is what I really want to do. And everyone was like, wait. What are you gonna do when you grow up? You're really gonna be wrestling? Like, yeah, that's it. That's the plan. That's all I want to do. And even when I was in college, my fourth semester, my counselor literally said she knew how much I wanted to be a wrestler. We're talking about everything. I was going to school for kinesiology because I wanted to be an athletic trainer. And even with athletic training, I was just like, oh, maybe I can be such a good trainer. I could get on the WWE team and to treat the wrestlers. So I feel like everything was so wrestling derived and derived. The intern hours and all the schooling for it was more of a plan A than a plan B. And my counselor, long story long, not really that short, but she even says, like, you know what? You're young now. If this is what you really, really want to do, you can always go back to school. Like, you can only, go full at it, once. And I'm like, are you encouraging me to drop out? And she's like, well, I can't really say that, but if you really want to go after something, then put everything, 100% towards it. So I didn't drop out. I finished that semester, and then after that, I just never went back, and I guess it worked out for me. So,
absolutely. And you talked about it, the injury, but you are currently Impact Wrestling's world champ. You're the champion.
I am the world champ. First, I was the almost guy forever, and everybody was always asking, like, how come you've never been the man? How come you've never been the world champion? Where for any promotion? And I'm like, hey, man, I don't know. I'm the one who makes those decisions, and finally. Way overdue. It finally happens. And of course, in that match on that night, I injured myself. I spent the night in the hospital, and it wasn't exactly my ceremony that I wanted. And since then, and I've had tons of injuries. Every wrestler has, and we all work through them. It's kind of the nature of the beast because you don't want to lose your spot, your opportunity. And it's been the first injury that was like really stopped me from being able to work. And that keeps on setting. Like every time I think it's over or close enough to be over where I can get through it, it was just like it would just re-aggravate it and just setback after setback after setback. So I'm finally feeling good. I just had a match on the 1st of September, Warrior Wrestling against Michael Elgin. It was the first match I've had in months where I didn't hurt afterwards. There was no regression. I didn't re-aggravate anything. So I'm feeling good. We just had an awesome couple of tapings of Impact. Feeling good still, so I feel like I'm finally on the full mend where I'm looking good, and hopefully in a few weeks I'll be back to 100% completely.
Absolutely, there's some cool stuff going on with Impact Wrestling as well. Last week I had Rob Van Dam on the show, and he's doing some stuff with Impact Wrestling now too.
He's one of the guys people keep asking me want to work, and I would work with Rob. I've never worked with Rob, so and again, had I been healthy, I would have had a lot more, matches and things that we were planning, and obviously a lot of those didn't happen because I was out. So I'm hoping, after Bound for Glory, after the match with Sam Callahan, that I can move forward and get in the ring with many people. So
It's an amazing time for pro wrestling. For you specifically, who's someone that's kind of in the ring and that kind of, cuts promos, reacts, kind of interacts with the crowds and everything. Why do you think, from your perspective, pro wrestling is where it is right now, which is just this, like, I'll say, machine of a business right now?
I think really it's just, I think we really got to give a lot of credit just to the indies. Like, I don't know how or why, but the independent realm just like blew up. When I first started, it wasn't like this. And even, for a long time after I started, it wasn't like this. I'm not really sure what the big boom or switch was, but it's got such a big, cult fan following now across the globe. It's just amazing. And then that independent style is what's kind of progressed wrestling, and everybody started adapting to it. ROH, NXT, Impact, Lucha Underground, all these. That's basically kind of the indie style, so it's more over. And I don't know, it just started developing more. It was like getting cool again, if you will. Like I feel like WWE is not going to go anywhere. They're the mainstream, the mecca. But I feel like they've kind of stayed just where they're at. Where I feel like everything else has been on the rise.
Well, you kind of set me up for this, but another organization that's making waves right now is All Elite Wrestling, AEW.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously that's the formula which all led to now is AEW. Actually being, because even with it, like all the other promotions, I just mentioned Impact, Lucha Underground, Ring of Honor, all those are phenomenal. The roster is great, the talent's great, the matches are great. Their number one thing is not their audience, but the number of people that their audience can reach is so limited because of the channel or lack thereof. It just, the reach isn't there. It's not the product that's bad; it's their availability to get the product out there. So now AEW is just as good, if not better, than anybody else as far as talent wise. But you got the money and the opportunity and the actual viewership, or at least you will have the opportunity to have the viewership to actually be a legitimate competitor, and that everybody can see. Like you can accidentally flip through your TV and find AEW now, whereas like to watch any of those other promotions, you have to already know and be a fan to be able to look for it and find it. Like the chance of you just stumbling across ROH or Impact or something, if you don't know what it is, it's going to be a little bit tough.
But the thing is, too, it's like, you know wrestling fans, like, we're insane. We're dedicated. We're into it. We eat up all the content, right? CM Punk recently said at StarCast, he's like, this whole Wednesday Night Wars of NXT and AEW, like, watch it all. Like, I'm going to watch it all. I'm going to watch Ring of Honor. I'm going to watch Impact Wrestling. I'm going to watch New Japan. Like, I'm going to watch it all because it's such an amazing time for the wrestling fan as well, right, Brian?
Oh, well, absolutely. And the majority of the wrestling fans will watch it. But unfortunately, if it was just up to the wrestling fans, well, then every wrestler would be millionaires. Like, you have to get that general population, too. The hundreds of thousands of WWE fans that don't know anything outside of WWE, right? I work for Impact. What's that? Oh, I wrestle in the indies. What? There's independent wrestling? Oh, I'm working for, they're like, wait, there's wrestling in Japan? Like, they don't know anything. They just turn on TV, they see it's a pop culture thing. And they know WWE, they know John Cena, they know Hulk Hogan, whatever it is. Like that's the household name market that you need to, really obviously make the biggest revenues. Outside of that, yes, wrestling's been booming, and like the casual, not casual, excuse me, the legitimate wrestling fan has expanded and has made everything so much great and so much more possible for all of us. But that's not that's just like a niche market, not to like make it sound bad. Whereas you want everyone to be able to see it. So that's why you guys are great. You guys watch everything, but you guys already know what it is. You guys are looking for it. Like you can't accidentally become a fan of Impact Wrestling. You got to kind of already be a fan, or be a fan of someone who's going there, or just know about it. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. You mentioned kind of I find it interesting when I asked you why wrestling is popular now. You said the rise of the indies and the style of the indies. What I find interesting is, like, what I find, like, a lot of wrestlers nowadays, they are kind of signing these exclusive deals in, the United States with, Impact or with AEW, right? Where they're getting, decent compensation, but they have to work a certain amount of matches and everything. But in the past, a lot of those companies that weren't, WWE, they weren't doing that. Ring of Honor, Impact, they weren't doing exclusive contracts. So the fact that companies that are not WWE that are doing exclusive wrestling contracts, it does show that wrestling is rocking and the industry is progressing, right, Brian?
Oh, absolutely. And it's also like, because the indies are so over, not only is there like, obviously a chance of injury, and you want your talent or your star to be injured, but also it's awesome to be able to do the indies and it's so over, but because the indies are so over, it also lessens your value if you're allowed to work all the indies. So if ROH is going to New York and then you just did a triple shot in New York the week before, say Flip Gordon did, for instance, and then I was going to be the following week for Ring of Honor. Well, all those fans are like, we just saw Flip 3 times last weekend. He's maybe not going to, we don't have to see him again this weekend. Whereas now, if you haven't seen him for 6 months because Ring of Honor hasn't wrestled there 6 months, now it's like, oh shoot, we got to go. We haven't seen these guys forever. Like, it's more of a rare, limited occasion, so it makes it more valuable for their guys. And then the fact that yes, they're able to afford that, to be able to offer exclusive deals, it's phenomenal. That way, yeah, you're not stuck just working the indies or thinking that Vince is the only way to have a full-time job.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. Whether it's inside the ring or outside the ring, what are some trends in pro wrestling that Brian Cage likes and dislikes in pro wrestling right now? Things that are getting people over that you're kind of like, I'm not really into it much. It's not my cup of tea. Or things that, you really like that you're like, this is awesome. This is new. This is fresh. Any trends that you could think of?
Trends is like, are we talking like gimmick or match wise or movie?
Yeah, anything really. Anything really.
I mean, everyone complains. It's funny too. It gets more old school people who complain about like the amount of like diamond cutters and the amount of super kicks and stuff. I don't mind that. I think it's cool. It gets over, so that's why everyone wants to do it. And also, like, that's just part. Everybody compares it, like, oh, well, we didn't have to do that then, or we never did that then. I'm like, yeah, but if it's predetermined or not, it's still a sport, and all sports evolve. I was a big time skateboarder, and all the stuff that they did in skateboarding 10, 20 years ago won't do jack for you now. Everything evolved. Everything's better and better. So, like, if you can close on a guy in every match, why can't you super kick a guy in every match now? You know what I mean? It's just the way that things progress. I don't mind that, and I enjoy it. And I enjoy everybody getting their stuff in. Obviously, the big topic now is all the equality and all the intergender stuff and whatnot. And people ask me that because I've obviously partaken in that, and I feel like I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that, but as I've said many times, I feel like it depends on the timing, the place, and the individuals all involved, because it can be done right and well, but it just again depends on where it is and why it is. I've had times where I've been asked to work an intergender match, but it was just kind of like random and made no sense. So I was like, I don't know if I'm like super into that. There's been other times where I'm like, okay, cool, and we've gotten a lot out of it. But even then, with that, like, you still have to, especially with me being the size I am, high low, you still have to play the part right. Like, so if like I'm gonna say the girls can't wrestle the guys, but obviously they're not gonna wrestle the guys. Like if I'm not bumping for Rich Swann, then why am I gonna bump for not just a girl but somebody smaller than Rich Swann? You know what I mean? Like, and so like you still have to obviously develop it the same. Like, you can't walk out the curtain and like talk about all the equality stuff. But you can't walk out the curtain and then imagine everyone's out the same size, same speed, same attribute. You know what I mean? So Rey Mysterio is not gonna powerbomb the Undertaker.
No, for sure. What does Brian Cage want to accomplish in pro wrestling, with Impact Wrestling and in general?
I mean, my goal, through my whole career, and I think most people, is always to be, everyone wants to be the world champ. I'm a world champ right now, Impact Wrestling, though. Again, my reign has been not what I wanted. So I want to come back fully healthy and be able to have a lot of awesome matches with a lot of the amazing talent that I have been able to have. I want to be considered like the MVP of whatever promotion I'm with, and a guy you're going to be able to count on, like, oh, his match is going to be match of the night or damn near close to it. And then, yeah, at the end of the day, when I'm said and done, I want to be remembered as not only one of the best, but one of the most unique, or just one of a kind, if you will, type of athletes.
One of a kind. Rob Van Dam, little plug there.
Exactly. Instead of
continue.
Oh, I was just saying, instead of like, people like, oh, you're this guy's Brock Lesnar, or oh, the new Mike Awesome, or oh, no, I want to just be the first and only Brian Cage. So
yeah, I saw that. I saw someone So yeah, the Brock Lesnar comparisons to Brian Cage. I mean, that's old. Like I've heard that for a while. But like
Yeah.
I've heard someone say Mike Awesome, and I was like, man, like that does make sense a little bit.
Oh, I mean, I'm not insulted by those. I'm like, I see a lot of people say that, like, oh, like old school, Prime Scott Steiner or this guy or that guy. I know all this is flattering, but I don't want to be remembered as like, oh yeah, he was like this guy. I'm like, no, I want to be my guy, which is Brian Cage.
Yeah,
so.
I want to be Brian Cage. I don't want. Yeah, it's funny. Like when I interview hockey players, I ask them like who they like model their game after, and like I feel like half of them get like pissed when I say that because they're kind of like, I don't want to model my game after someone. I model my game after, like I'm playing myself, like I'm myself.
But we all do, because everybody who plays any sport or any sort of competitive thing is inspired by somebody in that same field. So obviously, whether you say it or not, you're obviously inspired and you're emulating somebody to some degree, so.
No, absolutely, man. And finally, for people that, want to get into pro wrestling and want to, train and get into it, do you have any kind of like advice for them? Because you've been doing this for a long time and like you said, you are a champ. Like, is there any kind of nuggets of wisdom you can quickly share with them?
The one I kind of go-to phrase I would say people ask that is, well, first you got to find, a legitimate, incredible school, but also just be consistent and dedicated to it. And that just really goes with anything in life, whether you're going, to freaking dentist school, whether you're trying to lose weight, whether you're trying to be a pro wrestler, whatever it is. You just be consistent with it and dedicated, because it's not going to be easy. Nothing's going to be easy, because if it was, everyone would do it. And I feel like there's a lot of people that really want to do it. Obviously, a lot of big fans of wrestling. And I feel like a lot of people feel like, oh, I know wrestling, or, I know how it's done because I'm such a fan out of it. So this will be easy. I'm like, it's not easy. And nothing that you really want to do is going to be easy. So be consistent with it. Don't quit. You're going to get beat up. You're going to get sore. You're going to, get your feelings probably hurt. A lot of that's just going to happen. You got to be thick-skinned, be prepared for it, because I feel like generally deep down, it's really just, you versus you. Like if you really want to be there, you really want to make it, at the end of the day, if you do all there is to do it, then you'll eventually make it. And once you do, there's nothing better than it. So
absolutely. Well, Brian, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I really, really appreciate it.
No problem. Sorry, my daughter started playing halfway through with it, but
no, she wants the screen time, man.
I know, she's been playing with these apples. She's like
her dad. She wants the screen time. But where can people follow you on social media?
Mr. GMSI. That's it for Mr. Get My Shit In. _ Brian or B Cage on Twitter. The name sucks. It's long. Everybody always misses it, doesn't find it. But I have a blue check mark, so I can't change it or I'll lose it. And then just Brian Cage on Facebook and Instagram. Much easier.
Cool, man. Well, seriously, I wish you all the best on your upcoming title defense and reign, because it's time for the machine to unload.
Yes. It's I keep on saying it's gonna be the age of Cage, and it's been a very slow start. So hopefully it'll finally pick up some steam.
Absolutely. Well, this has been Popternative. YouTube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. And until next time, this is the Machine, Brian Cage, and PD Beats signing off.
Take care, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.